because it is hot out there. I always say, let it be a jump start to a weight loss program if you need one. So let's get this party started with the Juice Show. We want to definitely be bringing you some valuable information that you can use like right away and also down the line. So what I want to do is find out who is out there jumping on this Sunday because you could be someplace else. I kid you not. So we definitely appreciate you being here. So I want to shout you out and know who you are. Just go ahead and put in the chat where you're chiming in from. And if this is your very first time, I mean, very first time, go ahead and put a one in the chat. We definitely want to know who's jumping on and listening for the very first time. But we also appreciate from the bottom of our heart the ones that keep coming back and supporting us each and every Sunday or whenever they can. So go ahead and put on there R for repeat so we can shout you out as well. So who is out there joining us? We definitely want to know because we are glad you are here supporting us as we bring the juice to you. All right, everybody who's out there. Oh, there we go. Rich Rising Family, ATLGA in the building. Kim, thank you so much. One of our humongous supporters have been hanging with us every single Sunday weekend and week out, and we appreciate the support. So thank you so much. Absolutely. Yolanda from Pasadena, California. Welcome. Glad you made it. Glad you are here. I also saw Alvin from Ohio. So welcome, Alvin. Glad you all are here this Sunday. Coming to get what? The juice. So the thing that we definitely like to share all the time is we like to have fun, but we also like to share seriously the information that we bring to you, which is finances that can reduce your expenses or increase your income, and also the tricks of the trade of being an investor in real estate. Things that, you might not have had the conversation around the dinner table, but we definitely want to bring it to you and have it today. People are jumping on as we speak. So we're getting our favorite video ready, the one where it was created behind the scenes, one of us. Looking forward, definitely to sharing that with you. And if you like the music, dance along. I do every Sunday. I enjoy it. So that'll be coming up in just a bit. But in the meantime, go ahead and put in there where you're chiming in from because we definitely want to shout you out. And like I said, we appreciate the support. You have no idea beyond belief. And the topic we have today, oh my goodness, it is definitely a hot one. And it's talked about the majority of the time because it's part of the real estate transaction. So I can't wait to share that with you. All right, who else is out there before we get our video rolling and dancing to the tunes? Who else is out there? Oh, there we go. Yes, Alvin, I shouted you out. I saw you jump on. Thank you for coming in, Alvin. Like I said, from Ohio, everybody. And who else has jumped on here? Just go ahead and put in the chat where you're coming in from. Oh, here's our video. Feel free to dance along if you please. Savannah from Virginia, welcome.
Over here.
Yeah. Yes, how far will you go to get the juice? As always. So, before I go ahead and introduce what we are going to be doing today, I want to shout out the people in front of the camera, behind the camera, just making things happen. So, we start out with hey, Jerry, James, Bobby, Teresa, and myself coming to you live every Sunday. No, we are not recorded. So, today, everybody, we are definitely going to you can't make this stuff up, right? So today we are doing something a little different, a little different. We are going to talk about a hot topic that people have always been looking for. So just so you know, we're going to dive deep into the topic. We have here tons of questions about it lately. So it's about creative ways to finance real estate without using traditional bank loans. Well, if you've been feeling stuck, like you want to invest, but the bank says, what? No. Or you're short on that 20% down payment, this episode is definitely for you. We want to break this down into a clear, simple way and keep it real. These are the strategies that new and experienced investors are using right now to close deals, grow their portfolios, and build wealth. Yes, I said build wealth, even when the market feels tight. So here's what we're going to cover: seller financing, house hacking, partnerships, HELOC, private money, lease options, and the Burr method. Plus, we will walk through a couple of examples so you can see how these work in real life, not just in theory. So, if you're ready to start thinking outside the bank, let's get into it. All right, guys, take it away.
Okay, welcome. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, LaShawn, for the introduction today. That was great. So yeah, we're gonna be covering creative ways to finance real estate investing. Shout out to everybody joining us this morning. I like to see that people from multiple different states are here and tuning in. We got myself, bring up Bobby right now, and we got Mr. Jerry Ruffin himself. So let's go ahead and get started then today. What's going on, Bobby?
What is happening, everybody? What's happening? Welcome to the Juice Show. Beautiful Sunday to y'all.
So I'm gonna ask you. Let me start off with the question. This is for everybody. I'm gonna start off with the question to Bobby. When you first got started in real estate investing, did you have the understanding that you had to have a lot of money saved up inside your account to get your first deal started and completed?
Yes, my first inclination of real estate is that you had to have a lot of money in order to get started because everybody, even without knowing about real estate, you knew how much houses cost.
Yeah.
And we know we just don't have that money in the bank at every time that we just want to purchase something or purchase a house. We knew how difficult it was. I grew up in apartments because just for the situation, we couldn't own a house or the way the situation was. So I thought that you had to have a lot of money. So that was my first thing.
Yeah, likewise. Let me hear from people in the chat too. Did you think you had to have money to get started? I did. So I was just like adamant at saving as much money as possible because I know I wanted to do a real estate deal. And also, we grew up feeling like we had to pay for stuff with cash when I grew up. Everything that we bought, we purchased it, using our own money. We didn't know that, or we didn't feel comfortable asking other people for capital, or didn't even know the side of real estate where you can get these transactions done and don't have to actually have your own money to do these strategies that we're about to talk about today. Now, we probably going to have a chance to cover two of these strategies today, which the main ones we want to talk about is the seller financing part and the subject to part. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can bring up the definition of the seller financing.
Hey, you want me to? I got you.
You do? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So, it's been around forever, but it's seriously underrated. Basically, instead of going through a bank, you make payments directly to the seller over time. They become the lender. So, here how it works. Let's just say that the seller owns a property free and clear. You agree on a purchase price, maybe about $300,000. And instead of putting down 20%, which is what the bank usually wants you to do, and getting a mortgage, you negotiate directly with them. Maybe you put down, less than 20K and they carry the remaining 280. So if you would put 20K from 300, that's 280. Or if you negotiate less, and that's the loan, you pay them monthly just like a mortgage. Why is this powerful? No bank approval required.
Right.
Flexible terms. You can negotiate interest rates, payments, schedules, even a balloon payment, and close fast with what less paperwork. Take it away, James.
That was great. That was great. And I was trying to bring it up on the screen while you said that. So yeah, that's what seller financing is. Uh, it's a strategy where the seller themselves, to break it down even more further, it's a strategy where the seller themselves is not directly loaning you money, like as a lender to purchase their property. They're simply selling you the property on terms. And those terms is get created in what's called a promissory note. And a note is nothing but a piece of paper that outlines the repayment method of, of the deal. So so you can actually go out there and find someone who's looking to sell their property. And the property is owned free and clear, meaning they don't have any debt, no mortgage with any bank. And you can negotiate them selling you the property and using seller finance. So the reason why this is really good is because some people are entrepreneurs and they own businesses where at the end of the year, they wrote off so much that they don't show income. Then, usually, as a business owner or entrepreneur, we utilize our credit a lot. So sometimes you make good money, but your credit might be kind of bad. So now you want to purchase this property as a rental property or a property to live in, and you cannot check the boxes that the lenders want to see. So this is a great way to purchase properties without using your own money or credit.
Mhm.
So that's why we want to cover this strategy. And this strategy is taught inside our education, and it breaks it down very, very well. And so the second one that we want to cover is subject to. You got something on that one, LaShawn? What do you want me to explain?
On subject two,
Yeah.
the quick and dirty of it is this. It is simply that the owner of the property has a mortgage on the property and they owe money. So if they're in dire straits financially, an investor can come along and just start taking the payments and not taking them, but start making the payments. Now, the current mortgage stays in place. It doesn't transition over to anyone else. It stays in place, and the investor is making the payments moving forward. Back to you, James.
Right. Yep. That was a great definition of that. So yes, subject to, the owner owns the property. They have a mortgage on this property. In this case, we're not talking about seller finance. We talk subject to, the owner now does have a mortgage in place. And now you as the buyer will be purchasing the property. They will be transferring title of the property to you. So you get the title. And then you're going to make payments on the seller's mortgage. So that's a breakdown of subject to seller finance. So now you can actually purchase a property and come to the table with less capital. Now, in order to do this, this is really in the trust business. So the owner has to trust that you're going to make their monthly payments and not get them foreclosed on. The thing to really, really think about when you're doing these types of transactions is this: a title is shows ownership. We call it deed. That's one thing. Then another thing is the debt, the actual mortgage. These are not the same. These are two different things. So in our classes, they'll use an example of, let's say, Bob and Mary. Bob and Mary gets married, right? They happy, go lucky, they love each other. Then they don't. So let's say Bob ends up taking out a debt to purchase the property for Bob and Mary to live in. They lived in there 5 years or whatever. They decided to get a divorce. The judge grants Mary the property. And now Bobby comes along. He wants to purchase the property. Now Mary owns the title to the property, but her husband has a mortgage on the property. So in that case, who do you think you'll have to speak to on the sale of the property? In that case, you will have to talk to both. You have to have both parties because Mary has the title, her husband has the debt. All right, so that's something that I want to make sure that you start
We
thinking.
got absolutely. We got a question from Alvin, and he says, "Does the seller enjoy any tax advantages from selling with seller financing terms?"
I like that, Alvin. All right, that's good. So tax advantages, definitely you want to talk to your professional, seek out a CPA or attorney to help you with that, Alvin. But short answer from our experience, without giving any advice, is that yes, it's because they kind of avoid some of the capital gains on the profit because they might be taking that some profit over time. Now, if they're not making any profit, then they don't even have to worry about any capital gains, anything like that.
You got a slight echo, brother. I don't know if you hear it.
All right, let me check on that. Go ahead.
Well, let me just touch on that. I'll touch on that a second. So Alvin's question is, what is the capital? Do the seller and the buyer, how do they share it in the form of their taxes? That's all negotiable. It's just not a cut and dry yes or no. So that question is negotiable and who could actually file for the taxes on that subject to transaction.
Right. Yep, it's all negotiable, but definitely keep in mind too, usually the tax advantages go to the owner of the property.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, good question, Alvin. All right. All right, so let's keep it going. Any more questions? No. All right, so we just covered what seller financing is. Put it in the chat or Facebook Live or YouTube. Let us know if we were clear on those definitions. What seller financing is, do you now have a clear understanding of what that is? And do you have a clear understanding of what subject to transactions is? Let us know in the chat, wherever you're viewing from.
And I'm watching the chat on Facebook. So if you guys have any questions on Facebook, put it in the chat. We will get to it.
I got a question. Do you have to meet the seller face to face to complete this process?
All right, so that also depends, right? It's better to do business if you're going to close a transaction, actually meet up with the seller, I would say. But you necessarily don't have to, because sometimes you could be doing a deal out of state where you out there in Detroit, Bobby, and the property might be in Atlanta, and maybe you can't physically go meet that seller, but you can help that seller out of whatever situation that even links you both together. So, and that can happen via phone call, it can be a Zoom, it can be a FaceTime, where you can meet the seller that way.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. And so the thing about this, you guys, is that a lot of people think about why would they do that? Why would a seller carry back a mortgage? Or why would someone sell you their property, transfer the title, and then still be on hook for the mortgage? And my answer, and I let Bobby and Jerry chime in, is that they're going through something and they need a solution and they need a way out. and you've come at the right time, or right moment in their life where you offered the solution, and now this solution will get them out of their situation. And so they don't even think about the they don't think about the ownership and stuff. Then they need out of the situation because maybe they cannot afford to live in the property no more, or say they was in a good situation and they want to sell finance the property, and they didn't have any debt or anything that's any encumbrance. They can sell or finance the property for to you because they can get their purchase price, and these are great ways to sell hard to sell properties via seller finance. So they get what you want. Remember, in each negotiation strategy, the seller needs to get what they want, and then the buyer, you need to get what you want, and you guys come together collectively. So I'll let you share next, Bobby, on why would owner want to do that type of transaction.
Well, the owner would want to do that just for the fact that they are looking to well, let's say they have a note and someone wants to come buy that at a lesser price. They will take into consideration that at a lesser price, just making one payment to the note holder would be beneficial for them in the long run. All right. So by them doing that, they would only save money over time, and they would get that lump sum that they would have right now to use what they want to, and then pay off the note as the bill comes in or as that happens. So that would be beneficial for the note or for the person selling the note. Actually, Jerry and I have my my fourth real estate transaction. Jerry and I hooked up on a property in Detroit, and we used seller finance notes with the actual instructor, and sold him the note in order for that to carry over. So I was fortunate enough to work with Jerry because that's more his strategy, to the point where we were able to sell the note to the instructor, Jeff Armstrong, and be able to take over the property. And that's how that works. So we was very fortunate, and we learned this, all through the classes and going through the proper steps and the training in order to make that happen.
Nice. Now, I think LaShawn want to say something. Go ahead, LaShawn.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I see you come up. All right. So yeah, and so I did have I want to show you guys, but I didn't have it up on the screen. But in some states, the REPSI, which is the real estate purchase and sale agreement, they actually have a section for subject to transactions built inside it. Now, if yours in your state doesn't have it, then you can create what we call a addendum. And the addendum actually gets added and it's part of the contract. So you can have your attorney draw you up a subject to seller finance addendum, and then you can add that to your contract if your state doesn't have it already built inside that. So I'll bring up a picture of how one looks in just a second. Well.
Thank you.
All right. Just checking the chat, man. Alan said, is it true that in some cases the seller can make more profit by selling the property with seller financing than by selling for cash? Yes, Alvin. Yeah, good question. So, and the reason being is because now they get to create their own terms, and they can add interest. So seller finance is really good because it's like now you can become the bank. And it's so funny. We just came off a workshop here in Chicago yesterday where we covered a strategy called seller finance notes. And the note business is all about you becoming the bank, not the landlord. So seller financing is you becoming the bank. And if anybody took the velocity banking classes, if you're part of our education group, and you understand how amortization schedules are, you'll realize that the house that you purchased as an investment or to live in with that interest at 30-year term, that you would probably pay almost double if you go the full 30 years, paying that back. So let's say a seller wants to sell a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,500 square foot in Atlanta near Royalty, right? They want to sell their property and they want to sell a seller financing. Now that property at $200,000 can possibly, they possibly can make close to 300, 400,000 over the length of that loan instead of just taking $200,000 cash, right? So in these transactions, you just really, really, and I'm really good at this because I communicate, I cold call, I communicate with sellers all the time. What you're really trying to do is you're trying to figure out what the person wants and needs are, and then you want to figure out what the challenge are, right? So if I had to do like a presentation on like conversations, what you want to do over the phone, the main thing I would say is that you want to understand the seller's challenge, right? Why are they selling? You want to even write that down. That is the key to all the conversation. You can if you want to, but your offer is really created based upon solving the seller's challenge. Yeah, you're going to offer something, and it has to do with numbers, but the numbers address your offer has to address the challenge. If you don't know what the challenge is, then it's going to be harder for you to get that seller wanting to do the deal with you versus someone else. So just keep that in mind. Understand what the person's challenge is, who owns the challenge, and then what tools do you have to solve the challenge. And that's why we learn these strategies like seller financing, and we learn subject to, because it's a way that we can solve their challenge. And we as buyers, another thing you want to note, right? We as buyers, we want to come to the table with as little as possible, meaning down payment, right? And we want the longest terms. We want the longest amount of time to pay back. Now, seller is different. They want the opposite. So they want a big down payment. You're gonna sell seller finance. You want a big down payment, and you want a shorter term. You want a balloon, maybe a 7-year balloon, where they have to pay you off in full. So just keep those little nuggets in mind.
I just wanted to,
oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that, yes, sellers usually are known for wanting all of the money up front. But like James said, if you know what their reason or their, for wanting to sell, because, maybe down the line, they're not thinking, I'll get all this money now. They're going to have to pay taxes on that. And if you bring that to their attention, hey, you get all this some money right now, you have to pay taxes on it. But if you get over a period of time, you're not paying as much taxes, you're deferring it. And the other thing too is down the line, they know they're going to constantly get money coming to them, which is a nice incentive also. So, I see Dwayne. You have a question? Okay, maybe Dwayne doesn't realize he's like, okay. All right, back to
You
you.
might have came off from mute. Yeah, so I got Gene in the chat. Gene in the chat says, yes, I just want to know more about rental arbitrage. Rental arbitrage is a kind of a seller finance situation. However, um, it I'm gonna let Jay speak to it because this is definitely his strategy. But um, and also she wants to know the first question is um I'm not sure about the rental arbitrage, but yes, it is a seller finance, kind of like a seller finance situation. But her question, when seller financing, who decides the interest rate and what part does the original lender play? And so this question is kind of loaded. When you say original lender, the seller is the lender. If I'm the seller of this property and I um, carry back a note, meaning I take back a form of a note in the form of a promissory note, I am the lender. I'm lending this buyer the money to buy my home. So I create the interest rate. So in the seller finance situation, most of the time, the seller actually comes up with the interest rate that they want to charge. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and when you guys remember, always understand, like Jerry said, everything, a lot of answers to the questions you have is it depends. It depends on what you can negotiate. So yeah, seller owns the property, they have all the power, and in certain cases, because they own the property and they create and they doing you one by even offering the seller financing. And so you can negotiate what works for you, and they can negotiate what works for them. You guys can come to an agreement, right? So all the agreement is an offer and acceptance. Someone makes an offer, someone accepts, then you put it in legal paper, you get a binding agreement started. You guys, skip all the way to the closing table, because everybody getting what they want. That's a real negotiation. It's a good question, Gene. Rental arbitrage, I don't think we're covering that today, Gene, but I answer that for you outside of today's show for sure.
All right. We got another question in the chat. LaShawn, you want to check that out? Or you want me to?
Absolutely. So the question in the chat is, what is your favorite way to get leads for seller finance? That's question one. The second one is, who do you all utilize AI to enhance your strategies and business effectiveness? So the first one is, what is your favorite way to get leads for seller finance?
Well, I know there's a couple.
Let's start with that. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
I know there's a couple way to find leads, and you definitely, from watching our classes, you definitely have to have this money going into it, because it is a lot of letters and notes being sent out to homeowners who may be in foreclosure or things of that nature. So it's definitely a lot of penning and lettering, and that's one way to get leads for people who want to sell or finance.
All right. Anyone else want to chime in on that?
I want to add on to that.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. So what we look for as investors, we look for more off-market properties. So you can utilize databases. Like we have a software that actually helps you generate leads of off-market owners who are distressed. Maybe they're going through a foreclosure, bankruptcy. But the thing to know for the seller financing is that you want them to have some equity. So sometimes you can search by high equity, low equity, and you want to know that they have equity in the property to sell or finance. Because that's what because remember I said, they're not loaning you anything. They're simply carrying back a mortgage and creating a note based on the equity that they have on their property. So like Bobby said, you can send out direct mail pieces to those people. Like I said, there's usually off-market properties. You can use softwares out there. Like we use like iOS, some other ones that are out there that people use are out there. You can use referrals. You can talk to agents. You can talk to your warm market people You can look around the neighborhood and figure out, if anybody's selling properties. And then you figure out if they have equity in the property and can sell or finance it to you.
Hey, put in the chat if you know what equity is in a house?
Oh, that's a good question.
What is equity? Do you guys know what the equity is in the house?
Yeah, put an N in the chat if you don't know. If you don't know, it's all right if people do know. We figure out who don't know.
Before we get to the equity, go ahead, Bobby.
Hopefully, Meyer, we answer your question. There's different ways to find leads. Yes, definitely you can use AI. We use, like James said, we use a software, the Renatus iOS, and direct mailing, finding people who's in dire straits. These are the people that you will want to talk to as far as finding. As far as using AI, of course, use it to your advantage. And if it's going to help you and the other person involved in the transaction, or helping you find people that's in need of that, absolutely.
I wanted to add, another way to find off-market properties is just simply in your everyday life when you're driving around. If you see a house that has overgrown landscaping that looks like it might have been abandoned. And if you know your post office, or not post office, your postal person that delivers mail. They are constantly delivering mail all over the place. So get to know that person that delivers mail, and find out if they know any properties that are because they're going to get the mail to say foreclosures, or know that properties have been unattended. So back to you guys.
Yes, right. Yeah, so anybody can sell you a property that they own, seller financing. Just make sure that they own the property. All right.
What are some a disadvantage to buying seller finance notes instead of a property? Why would you rather buy the paper rather than buying the property? Now,
Man,
one way.
if we go into that, then I think we'll have to explain seller finance notes, which is the topic that we didn't bring up today. But it is a great topic rolling off, especially like I said, we had a full-day workshop yesterday. But I will have to pretty much set the table to even ask that question so that people can understand that.
The next topic is partnerships.
Before you move on, got a question. Gene asks.
Oh, you muted yourself. Come back out again.
In regards to equity, do we ever explain what equity was?
Because if the owner still has a note on the property, can you still seller finance your property? This is Gene's question.
I think what Gene is saying is if the owner has a mortgage on the property, can they seller finance? That's why I believe. Gene, you watch Jerry, let us know if that's what she's saying. And the answer is yes, if the property has equity. In order to do seller financing, the property has to have equity.
So did we explain what the definition of equity was?
No.
Okay, let's do that then. Because when I was looking at the chat, it's like I think everybody said they know what it is.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't think I think one person said no.
All right.
Maybe look, let's just do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So why don't they put in the chat what equity is? Let's get some interaction here.
Let's go.
No,
All the yeses in the chat.
Everybody in the chat. What is equity?
Or who can come off mute? Who's brave enough to come off mute today? We do that too. Yeah. Equity, simple.
Not everybody at once now. Come on.
Simple explanation of equity. Make it simple for the viewers.
Yeah, so if everybody said yeah, no, didn't nobody say no, right? No, I don't understand. So we just keep moving. If ain't nobody said no, if everybody understand, we cool. Let's move forward.
All right.
We want to see if they know.
Well, there might be someone that doesn't want to say that there might be someone that doesn't want to say they don't know. So let's just give the definition. Go ahead.
Let's go, LaShawn. Go with it. LaShawn been good with definitions today. Go with it.
All right, I'm gonna take a stab at it. All right, so basically, if you owe money on a property and you have a mortgage, and then what the market is willing to pay for that property, if you were thinking about selling it, taking the difference between the two, that is your equity. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know.
That was really good.
So equity is you have $100,000 home and you've paid $50,000 of that home. Now that makes you have $50,000 in equity. So it's whatever less you owe on the property towards the value. So whatever the value is, whatever you have paid off on that home, that is your current equity. If you have a $200,000 home and you paid it down to $100,000, it means you have $100,000 in equity.
There you have it.
There you go.
All right, we're dealing with professionals on here, man.
Yes, sir.
That's our professionals.
The value minus any debt and encumbrance is your equity. Simple way.
All right.
How about that? And all right, so like LaShawn said, so another way to do real estate transaction, this really worked for me multiple times, and to this day I still do it, is partnerships. Okay. So I wish I was really good at working these whiteboards so I could show you and write out what I'm saying. But when you come in and you join us, right, you'll learn that it's 4 currencies. Okay. You can write this down, LaShawn. Hopefully you can put this in the chat for everybody. But those 4 currencies are time, money, knowledge, and relationships. Okay. Now, all you need at least is to have one of them. I'll explain what that means. Let's say you have the knowledge to find great deals, lock them up under contract, but you don't have, and you have time as well. So you got knowledge and time, but you don't have the capital or relationships. But you can find someone in your real estate group or someone that you know, reach out to people who actually have money sitting, wanting to use it to get back a return on investment, because the banks don't give us back anything, allowing your money sitting inside a savings account. So now they see your deal, right? They's like, oh, you know what? This is a great opportunity. I always wanted to get into real estate, and I want this money to turn over. I want to make money. I don't want it sitting. So you can partner with other people to do your first real estate deal. My first real estate deal was actually through a partnership. It was a wholesale transaction. I found the property, so I used my knowledge and I spent time marketing to find the seller. And I partnered with another investor who purchased, who actually brought the buyer in that situation. Okay, so we partnered and we split the profit at the end. So in under 30 days, we were both getting paid at closing. So that's a partnership example. Anybody else want to? I know you and Bobby did a partnership. Maybe you guys want to share something.
Yeah, well, my first deals, nobody didn't trust me, so I didn't get no partnerships. So so it was a struggle. I was on the struggle bus for a while, right? And I just, when we talk about the currency, I like to put the currency in the order. Uh, and what I mean by that is time is our most important currency. And I would say knowledge would be that second. Um, then you will have relationships and then money. Money is the least important currency that we have. And so once we really understand this and how they work, man, changes the game. But in terms of the partnership, uh, I believe my first partnership was I used someone's credit, and that was pretty much the credit of. It wasn't actually a subject to because they didn't have a mortgage, but I used their credit to actually obtain um, a line of credit to actually purchase their property from them. So there's so many different ways to doing this, y'all. And I came in here to this real estate arena, the brokest guy you've ever want to meet. Okay. So learning that you use your relationships that you have already built. You can use the knowledge that you have. You can use the time. You can invest your time into learning how to do, and you can trade those 3 currencies for money. Don't think that, hey,
Well
I need
said.
to come to the table with money.
Well said. Yeah, and the reason why we're doing this is because, like you said, we don't want anybody, because we didn't understand these things when we first came in. We had to learn them, but we don't want people that's outside want to get into real estate thinking that they have to spend their life saving money and take years and years and years to get started. When most people are getting started today and they learning what they need to learn and they realize money is just a byproduct of the value that you create. So that's why we want to share the strategy so nothing can hold you back from doing real estate. We know it's a lot of misinformation out there. We want to clear some things up. And this is the best way to do it, having a platform like this where we can speak to you guys directly and you guys can understand these things. And then when you want to get educated, we have education for you guys. And we also have a supportive community to help you along your real estate journey.
Oh, good time to go to the announcement.
I was just about to say that. All right. All right, man, make some noise, y'all. You know, we're bringing you the juice,
Woo
the
woo.
seller finance and partnerships. Definitely, this is things that we are learning. We are fortunate enough to be a part of this community in this group. Um, and just sitting here learning and being able to share with everybody else. Oh, did that switch? My bad. Let me try that again. But just being able to learn this and be amongst other people who are building and making things happen, and just being able what we're able to learn ourselves, you know. And
You have it up.
I have it up. Okay,
Yes,
there we
you
go.
do. Yep, there
All
you go.
right, all right, everybody, check it out. This is what's going on every Sunday morning. 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. You want to be right here on the Juice Show where we bringing you a juice. We have guests. We interact with one another. We let you know different strategies and what we're able to learn just to bring you some information that you'd be able to take and share with other people or definitely get more involved. And when I say get more involved, um, this is where you want to be. Get more involved with us. This is the introduction to real estate investing. All right, with our very own Mr. Jerry Ruffin at 11 or 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. This is who we are, what we do, and how you can get involved. He's going to be going through the different strategies, the different instructors, how we meet up, where we meet up, a little background on themselves, just so you can get more familiar who we are. And if you want to join this real estate investing community, which I highly recommend. All right. Also, 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, we got Make the Call, Secure the Deal with our very own, the great James Gavin, cold calling marathon. All right. So he's going to be calling different sellers, and you're going to be able to hear him speak to different sellers of and trying to secure the deal, seeing where they're at, where their pain point is, how he could be of service. All right. So if you're interested in doing something like that or hearing that, this is where you want to, check out, actually listen to the calls and see how things go, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right. Cool. Today, locating leads. This is from my man Taj, but I believe Mr. Joey Styles is going to be taking over today, 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, locating leads. So if you don't know where the leads are, or you're having trouble finding and locating properties or houses, this is where you want to be. He's going to be going different avenues and locating these properties, how you can find properties using the internet at your fingertips. All right. And also today, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, we have the real estate mastermind. So if you, after you get them deals from locating leads, you can come here and analyze the deal, get all your questions answered, make sure you have a strategy on how things are going through, how they found it, how they're going to fund it, how they're going to connect, different ways to do it, different strategies. Have you considered this? Have you considered that? All these questions and more here at the Real Estate Mastermind. All right, we have the Juice Show on the Facebook. If you are on Facebook, please like, follow, and review. Let us know. Get any suggestions, even if you want to come check out past podcasts that we've done with guests. Matter of fact, last week we had the great Ron Williams on. So if you missed that, definitely go back and check that. All right. And even our own past podcasts, make sure you let us know what you think. All right. So make sure, I know there's a link, but make sure you check us out. You can even search for the Juice Show podcast page, and it should pop up. So make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a follow, and let's stay connected. All right, right now we got deals of the community.
Community.
All right, these are people. I know, a little extra, right? These are the people who's actually making moves and doing deals. All right. Yeah, I know. These are people who's making moves and doing deals in the community. You see your name up there, pat yourself on the back. If you have anything new going on, let us know so we can get your names up here in bright lights. We'll be celebrating y'all. We do this every weekend, every weekend. So make sure you come check us out. All right. Cool, cool. All right. And That is it. That's it for the announcements. Any questions? Anything? Any follow-ups? Any polls, James? Did you have anything on the polls, or were we still doing that? Or I
Yeah, I
mean,
was gonna do it early in the beginning, but I didn't get to it, so we just leave it out.
okay,
We're
no
gonna
worries, no worries.
we're gonna have to do a part two because we still had some other strategies.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah, most definitely. So those strategies, and then it's best not to do them all at once too, because no one can remember all those at once. So it's great that we just break it down in different sections and
all
be able
right.
to talk.
So what we learned today, we learned that you didn't have to use your own or have a lot of money in your bank account just to do real estate. You just have to have the knowledge, right? And Jerry went through the four currencies, you know what I mean? And money is the last one on there. So you want to have the knowledge, the time, and the relationships. Those are your currencies, and money is the last currency. So just to let you know, it's a misconception, just like we spoke on earlier. James asked me, "Hey man, you know, when you do real estate, did you think you had to have a lot of money?" And that's everybody's um first thought. You know, it's like, man, I don't have 200,000. You know, plus you only get one house. You know, and then what? Then I'm in debt, and then they don't know how the process goes. So it's best to nip that in the bud right now. And not only that, you'll be able to get the knowledge. Not only that, but a lot more. You know, tapping in, getting with the community, get with the person who invited you if you're a guest, if you just don't have that knowledge. So this is something that we want to pass on to other people just to get their brain thinking so we can get them to an introduction enough for them to know that there is help, there is community, there is support, there's people who's willing to help you. Now, I know a lot of people, in my case, if I'm free to say, since we're talking freely, they don't like to pay for education as well. They want everything pretty much for free. They want everything pretty much for free. And I'm thinking like, what knowledge? Yeah, you can get knowledge online. You can get knowledge from books. You know, you might even have somebody who's done a couple deals that might be able to help you with a couple deals. But usually that might take a little longer. All right. This is, even though this is a marathon and not a sprint, you still definitely want to get with like-minded people and connect and learn the process of different things and set up everything correctly the first time so you won't be disgruntled further down. So
I
that's my
wanted
little
to
2 cents.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. I wanted to add that investors, good investors are wanting to help people with real estate challenges. So there's room in real estate for everybody. Yes, there's room for agents, real estate agents, brokers, so on. But investors are usually helping people with a real estate challenge. And so 9 times out of 10, people don't necessarily want to come up and say they're having a real estate challenge. So if you know someone that is having a challenge, talk to an investor that you trust to help them solve their problem. And there's all kinds of challenges out there. People are facing foreclosures. We all know the prices are going up like crazy. So people are going to get, people just might pack up and leave the house and just walk away because they can't afford the mortgage anymore. That's a property that's sitting there that someone else could be using. And the other challenge is there's people that financially cannot afford the traditional way to put down a 20% down payment. Once again, an investor can negotiate the terms and also the money as to how that's going to be paid. So it's a challenge for people to get out of a property. There's a challenge for people to get into a property, but it's always a way to do it. So that's what investors are here to do. And there's a lot of different ways. And yes, they're all legal. Back to you guys.
Exactly. Hey, Bobby, do you got a chance to bring up the slide with the class? That way I can just share, what we
Let me
pulled
see. Let me
knowledge,
see. Let me
knowledge
see.
from. And I'll keep talking while
All
you
right.
I just want to briefly share them really fast. Because these would make all the difference in our life, I promise you. Like having education, having knowledge will take you so far, right? And then you don't got to worry about what you don't know or looking foolish or not understanding something. So even after you take it, you got a supportive community that can answer some of your questions that you have after you watch. What you say,
Hey,
LaShawn?
James, before you go over the classes, I just wanted to say we're always talking about people that have real estate challenges. Sometimes people have their own real estate challenges. This education can also help you solve your own real estate challenge. So it's not just for other people, it could be also for yourself. Back
Oh
to you,
yeah,
James.
that's so true. I'm glad you said that, LaShawn. That's so true. So you can use it for yourself as well. All right. So yeah, so these are three classes that we got that we covered today. Creative acquisitions, a great way to purchase real estate without using your own money or credit. Seller financing subject to down at the bottom. It's a great strategy to get your first deal going, like I said, without having those resources. And then if you're gonna go out there and raise money, you better know what you do.
Oh,
Like, because you don't want to get into any legal problems. You don't want to mess up somebody else's money. They trusting you, and they got their life savings betting on that real estate deal. So the more educated you are, the more value you bring to the marketplace, and you help others get back a return that they probably would never get on their own. So education is live and is well, and it's important, and it's what helped all us investors that's on this call right now. It helped us do the deals and transactions, that we do today. You can pull it
but
down unless you want to talk about anything.
no, the last thing I just wanted to say on that last one about raising capital, raising money, you can go to prison. And we've heard people that have gone to prison because of the way that they structured collecting money. There's a certain way to do it, and it's just not worth going and losing your freedom. So you definitely want to know what you're doing. Everything out there on YouTube and on the internet might look great because it's free, but you just want to, like we always say within our community, check and also verify. So back to you, James.
Well said, Mr. Sean. Go ahead, bring that down, Bobby. I'm going to share one thing because I mentioned since we got just a few more minutes, unless we got questions. Otherwise, I won't share.
Any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. No question is of no value. They're definitely all of value because we're always learning from other people as well.
So someone asked, I believe, where to find seller finance deals, and I mentioned the software. And so on my screen, LaShawn?
Yes, I see it on there.
Yep.
No, I see it. It's on there.
You use this software, you guys, to find these leads. So I'm in Chicago, Jerry's in Detroit, Bobby's Michigan area. So we can search by city, state, county, zip codes. We can search by these and find homeowners who are dealing with some type of financial distress, right? So we go here to lead pipes, we go to property leads right here. And then we can actually generate a list and we can refine that list and filter down that list to fit exactly what we're looking for. Now, remember I said seller financing, you want somebody to have equity. And if you're doing a subject to strategy, you just want to know that they have a mortgage. Now, subject to is great when you also see that they're in pre-foreclosure, meaning they missed more than 2 payments, and now the bank has filed a foreclosure action. So you can get all that data from a source like this. It's all public record, but this, you can generate those leads in just minutes. It also has a skip tracing feature that allows you to find phone numbers and emails to those owners. And you can reach out to them and see if you can offer them a solution to solve that challenge or make an offer to purchase their property. Since I see you at the top of the hour, I'm gonna just use an example. Like I say, let's say we doing Atlanta. Let's see, let's do Atlanta, Georgia.
While you're doing that, James, I just wanted to ask Jerry, was there any questions on Facebook?
Yeah, definitely.
No, but Gene did say, I like Gene's comment. Gene says, either you pay for education or you will pay for the lack thereof the knowledge. And I can
Yes.
guarantee you it's going to cost you more for the lack thereof than to pay for
I
your education.
guarantee you, yeah.
Good one.
That's so true. All right, so I'm gonna stop it here. But yeah, you guys want to see more of how to use the software like that, then I would say message me and I can actually show you the software. Like Gene, if you want to see something like this, I'll walk you through how to use it. So you can see it pulled up Atlanta real fast on the map, and then I can search by different lead types. Like I say, high equity, pre-foreclosure, you name it. So I'll stop sharing that. I just want to do that. All right, you guys, we done made it through another session, another show, great show. Uh, if you guys like this show, go to our Facebook page, leave us a comment, review. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to learn inside real estate. And if you haven't started getting educated or you're not part of a community and want to join, you can also message us there. We want to help as many people this year start making money in real estate and start learning so that way they can grow their real estate portfolio or make more money this year, buy back their time, or whatever that looks like for you.
I just wanted to add that we do have 4 more strategies. So stay tuned for another episode to bring those to you, because there's 4 more ways to find that money to get that property, get that deal. Go ahead, Jerry.
Absolutely. I was just going to take you guys out by saying, get to an introduction, get educated, y'all. This is what it's really truly all about: learning the process in which you can go out here and design your future. Right? It's no time like now to get into real estate. It's no time like now to get into real estate. Let's play, y'all.
Hey, how
Another
soon,
thing
Jerry?
I just want.
How
Go
soon,
ahead,
Jerry?
Jerry.
Right now? Go ahead,
Now
Latonya.
I was gonna say 9 o'clock. No, just keep in mind that we always hear that job is an oxymoron, and we're not here to bash on anyone that has a job. Hey, I got one as well, because we all got things we got to pay for. But just keep in mind that real estate is never, ever gonna go away. Why? Because people always need a place to live. So either you and think about it: if you're paying rent or if you're paying the mortgage, you're already an investor. The only difference is a mortgage, you're an investor for yourself, but paying rent, you invested in somebody else's dreams. So why not invest in your own? Back to you guys.
Hey, Royalty put that she's coming on the Jew show to talk about her deal she closed.
Oh, word.
Royalty!
Go, Royalty!
Awesome. Can't wait. Pick a date. Let's do this.
All right. If this is it, we want to thank y'all, everybody, for tuning in this Sunday. We are so grateful. We appreciate you. Yeah, Royalty. It's about that time, girl. So
Yeah.
we want to appreciate you. Check us out every Sunday. This is where you want to be. Thank you for joining us. And oh yeah, you have been Jews.
Juice.
All right, you guys enjoy your weekend. Stay cool out there, and we'll see you next weekend.